Ladies and gentlemen, Raiders Nation, welcome to another electrifying edition of Raiders Report. I'm your host, the voice of the silver and black, coming to you live from the heart of the action. Picture this, the roar of 65,000 faithful fans packed into the gleaming dome of Allegiant Stadium, the lights flashing silver and black, and the air thick with that unmistakable anticipation of battle. What a time to be a Raiders fan! Tonight, as the sun sets over Las Vegas, the Raiders are gearing up for their home opener against none other than their fierce AFC West rivals, the Los Angeles Chargers. But hold on, before we dive into the gridiron glory, let me hit you with a quick hook. Did you know that the Raiders have one of the most storied rivalries in NFL history, dating back to the days when the Chargers were in San Diego, and games between these two were always a powder keg of intensity? Yeah, that's the kind of drama we're talking about tonight. So, buckle up, because we're about to unpack everything you need to know about this matchup, with a special spotlight on one key veteran who's stepping up when the team needs him most. Let's get into it. First off, let's set the stage for this epic clash. The Las Vegas Raiders, fresh off their offseason rebuild and hungry for redemption after a rollercoaster 2023 season that saw them finish 8-9 and just miss the playoffs, are entering Week 3 with fire in their eyes. Remember, folks, the Raiders' journey to this point hasn't been easy. Born in Oakland back in 1960 as part of the AFL, they've got roots deeper than the Grand Canyon. Think of the Autumn Wind poem that still gives me chills, or those glory days under Al Davis, screaming, "Just win, baby," from the sidelines. The move to Las Vegas in 2020 was a game-changer, transforming them into the gladiators of the desert, playing in that state-of-the-art Allegiant Stadium that's become a fortress. But let's not forget the heartaches. 3 Super Bowl wins in the 70s and 80s, with legends like Marcus Allen scampering for those iconic touchdowns, or Howie Long anchoring a defense that terrorized quarterbacks. Fast forward to today, and the Raiders are still that rebellious, hard-nosed team, especially in the brutal AFC West, where they battle the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, those Patrick Mahomes-led heartbreakers, the Denver Broncos with their own storied past, and of course, the Chargers, who always seem to bring out the best and worst in the silver and black. Now, on to the main event, the Raiders versus the Chargers. This isn't just any game. It's a division showdown that could set the tone for the entire 2025 season. The Raiders come in looking to snag an early lead in the AFC West standings, because let's face it, in a division as stacked as this one, every win counts double. The Chargers, led by that savvy head coach Jim Harbaugh, remember his days at Michigan turning the Wolverines into champions, are no slouches. They've got Justin Herbert slinging the ball like a missile, and a defense that's been suffocating offenses early this year. But the Raiders, they're poised to make a statement. After a mixed bag in weeks 1 and 2, maybe a gritty win against a weaker foe and a tough loss that lit a fire under them, the Silver and Black are desperate to get off to a quick start at home. Allegiant Stadium has been a house of horrors for opponents, with that turf that's as unforgiving as the Nevada heat. We're going to learn so much about this Raiders team tonight. Can their revamped offense click? Will the defense, led by beasts like Max Crosby, who's already racking up sacks like it's his job, hold the line? And most importantly, can they channel that Raider spirit to dominate the division? I tell you, if they pull this off, it could be the spark that propels them toward a wild card spot or even that elusive AFC West crown, something they haven't hoisted since the pre-relocation days. Speaking of the offense, that's where our story really heats up. The Raiders are set to lean heavily on their ground-and-pound attack and quick passes to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands, whether it's the steady hand of a veteran like, say, a Jimmy Garoppolo type or the young gunslinging potential of Aiden O'Connell, who's been showing flashes of brilliance. But tonight, all eyes are on the trenches, folks. The offensive line is the unsung hero of any great team, protecting the quarterback like a fortress wall and opening lanes for those explosive runs. And in this game, with a key starter sidelined, the Raiders are turning to one veteran warrior to step up, right guard Alex Kappa. Oh man, what a storyline! Kappa, signed this offseason to bring some stability to a line that had its ups and downs last year, was brought in to compete with the promising rookie Jackson Powers Johnson for that starting right guard spot. Powers Johnson, a beast out of Oregon with those massive paws and quick feet, looked like the future during camp. But injuries, the cruel mistress of the NFL, have struck again. Powers Johnson can't go in Week 3, so it's Kappa's time to shine. Talk about next man up mentality. That's the Raider way, straight out of the Al Davis playbook. Let me paint a picture of Alex Kappa for you newcomers to the silver and black. This guy's no rookie, far from it. At 30 years old, Kappa has been grinding in the league since 2018, when he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the third round out of Humboldt State. Yeah, Humboldt State, not your typical powerhouse, but that's what makes his story so inspiring. He started as an undrafted free agent dream, but no, he earned his stripes. With the Bucs, he was part of that Super Bowl LV winning squad in 2020, blocking for Tom Brady as they steamrolled the Chiefs. Ironic, huh, considering the AFC West rivalry? Kappa's got over 50 starts under his belt, mostly at guard and tackle, and he's known for his toughness. Last season with the Cincinnati Bengals, he was a rock on the right side, allowing just a handful of sacks in pass protection according to Pro Football Focus stats. His strengths: intelligence on the field. He's like a chess master calling out blocks, and that veteran poise that keeps the line communicating like a well-oiled machine. Weaknesses: well, he's not the flashiest athlete, but in the NFL, smarts and grit win games more often than raw speed. Coming to the Raiders this offseason, Kappa was hurt for a chunk of training camp, which cost him the starting nod to Powers Johnson. But now, this is his audition, his chance to prove he's the anchor this line needs. If he dominates the Chargers' defensive front, guys like Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, who can wreck a game if you let him, this could open the door for him to lock down that starting role for the rest of the season. And get this, Kappa himself is fired up about it. In a recent interview, he laid it out plain and simple. "I am very prepared," he said with that calm confidence that screams veteran. "I mean, I have to be ready to play. That is what I have done my whole career. That is what I am going to keep on doing. And you never know when you are going to go out there, when you are not the first guy, and so you have to be ready. That is just your job at that point. I feel great." Boom, music to a coach's ears. He even touched on the line's chemistry. "It is good. We have really good communication. I have always been really big on communicating and working together, and I think we have done a good job of that. And I definitely feel that out there." Imagine that on the field, Kappa barking calls, syncing up with tackles like Colton Miller, another Raiders stalwart who's been with the team since 2018, and center Andre James, creating holes for running back Zamir White to burst through. If Kappa plays well tonight, watch out. He could be the steady force that elevates this offense from good to great. Now, let's dive deeper into the analysis, because as your go-to Raiders expert, I live for this stuff. Tactically speaking, with Kappa stepping in, head coach Antonio Pierce, who took over mid-season last year and brought that defensive-minded fire, is going to scheme around the line's strengths. Expect a heavy dose of inside zone runs, where Kappa's combo blocks with the center can seal off the edges for White, or even a goal line plunge from Jacoby Myers in short yardage. On pass plays, Kappa's experience against speedy edge rushers like Bosa will be crucial. He'll need to chip and slide to give the QB that clean pocket. Statistically, the Raiders' offensive line has been middling so far this season, allowing about 2.5 sacks per game, per NFL stats, but with Kappa's track record, they could drop that to under 2. Compare that to last year's line, which gave up a league-high 65 sacks. Improvement is key if they're playoff-bound. And injuries, they're the wild card. Powers Johnson's out with what we're hearing is a nagging ankle tweak, nothing season-ending, but it tests the depth. Remember when the Raiders lost their starting center early last year? They bounced back with grit. This is similar. Adversity breeds champions. Historically, this matchup against the Chargers is always a nail-biter. Since the Raiders moved to Vegas, they've split the series 2-2, but home games at Allegiant? Undefeated so far in division play. Wait, is that right? Let me double-check my notes. Actually, they've won both home tilts against LA since 2020, including that wild 2021 overtime thriller where Derek Carr, the former Raider QB who lit up Sin City before heading to New Orleans, torched them for 300 yards. Carr's legacy looms large. He was the face of the franchise during the transition, throwing for over 4,000 yards in multiple seasons and leading comebacks that had Raider Nation roaring. Now, with a new QB room, the pressure's on to fill those shoes. And don't get me started on the broader Raiders trivia. Their rivalry with the Chargers goes back to the AFL days, with infamous moments like the Holy Roller play in 1978, where a fumbled ball bounced into the end zone for a Raiders touchdown. Talk about controversy. Or the move from Oakland, which split the fanbase but created this vibrant Las Vegas chapter, complete with celebrity owners like Tom Brady, who's been spotted at games, adding that pop culture flair. Imagine Brady in the suite tonight, cheering on Kappa, two Super Bowl vets linking arms for the Raiders' future. To give you more insight, Let's imagine I'm chatting with some key figures. Picture this fictional but totally realistic interview with Raiders GM Tom Telesco, who's been wheeling and dealing this offseason. Alex Kappa? He's the kind of pro we targeted, experienced, tough, and ready to step in. With Powers Johnson sidelined, this is his moment to show why we brought him here. The line's communication has been spot on in practice. If Kappa gels, our offense could explode. Spot on, Tom. And how about a quick word from Max Crosby, the defensive end who's become the heart of this team? In my made-up sideline scoop, look, the O-line's got our back, and Kappa's a dog. If he stones those Chargers rushers, we'll feast on Herbert. Raider Nation, let's go. Even from a fan's perspective, say, a diehard from the Oakland days now tailgating in Vegas. Man, Kappa stepping up reminds me of when we had Gene Upshaw holding down the line in the 70s. This is Raiders football, commitment to excellence. These quotes fire me up. They capture the passion that makes this franchise special. Looking ahead, the implications of tonight's game are huge. A win not only boosts their record to 2-1 but sends a message to the Chiefs. Yes, those three-time defending champs, that the Raiders are back in the hunt. Playoff odds. According to my expert crystal ball and some analytics from ESPN models, a strong start like this could push their chances from 25% to 40%. Draft implications. If Kappa thrives, they might not need to reach for another lineman in 2026. But if the line falters, well, let's not go there. Positivity, Raiders fans. Predictions. I see the Raiders grinding out a 24-20 victory, with Kappa not allowing a single pressure and White rushing for 120 yards. The season's young, but this could be the turning point, especially with tough games against the Broncos and Chiefs looming. And tying into current events, with the NFL's push for player safety amid concussion talks, Kappa's veteran savvy in avoiding penalties could highlight the league's evolving game. Phew, what a ride! As we wrap this up, Raiders Nation, I want you fired up and ready. Tune in tonight to watch the silver and black take on the Chargers. It's going to be a classic. Follow us here on Raiders Report for post-game analysis, player breakdowns, and all the latest from Allegiant. Just win, baby. Commit to this team, and let's make 2025 the year we storm the playoffs. This is your host signing off. Until next time, keep the faith in the black hole.